My name's Kavit.
Kavit.
I'm 34. I'm from New York City. When I was in 6th grade, I had a crush on a girl, which I didn't actually know was a crush on a girl. And then I never had one again. I don't feel anything. I don't know what's happening. And then I was in gym class.
Okay, gym class.
And I work as a science teacher as well as a HIV activist here in Ho Chi Minh City.
Wow, that's lovely. HIV activists. I haven't met any HIV activists in Vietnam.
You know, it's because there's a long history here in Vietnam of it being a social evil in the 90s. And still today, it becomes very difficult for people to go get tested. So I know a number of my friends who didn't know where to go, or oftentimes they would go to clinics and they would get sort of taken advantage of by clinics who were charging them way too much. So I had an idea that I should just go to clinics that I could find were trusted, that would help queer or gay clients, as well as trans individuals, and see if I could go talk to them, make sure that they would charge people correctly and what kind of services they charge or offer. And now I go out to events. We just started one last month, and we're going to be continuing them, going out to gay events and offering referrals to clinics.
Why do you choose to help the HIV community in Vietnam?
You know, because as there is a movement here in Vietnam called K=K.
What does that stand for?
Well, in the West, we would say it means undetectable equals untransmittable.
Okay.
Which means that if you get on HIV medication like right now, and your viral load goes down to an undetectable level, there is a 0% chance that you will give it to your partner.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
So then it's untransmittable.
Yes.
Okay.
And there have been medical studies done over the past couple of years that have proven this. And many times here in Vietnam, people let their HIV progress to a point that it becomes AIDS when they just really don't need to. There's a lot of programs that can help people here and get tested, but a lot of people just don't know where to go.
That's true. I also think that as a foreigner, you kind of feel scared and you don't know where to go.
And when I came here, I just couldn't find the resources. Nowhere. When you searched online, you would get maybe some old resources. And there's a website called like Test Saigon, but a lot of the clinics that I saw were not actually listed on there. And I had a number of friends who went to get tested, and now I go out to gay events and I offer referrals to those clinics. If you see me, you'll find me at a place like Gender Funk Events, and soon more. And you'll see me under the banner Dr. Love.
Dr. Love, hey?
Not really a doctor, but you know, I know some.
I know some doctors.
But may I ask you, what is the differences between go to the hospital and go to your center?
So when you go to a clinic, you are going there for that particular type of purpose. You're going there to get HIV tested, you're going to get STI tested. You're going to run into doctors who know more about that kind of condition and know more not to like shame the patient. So the clinics that I go to are very queer and gay friendly. If you go in there and you talk about your sexuality or the kind of sex experiences that you have, they're not going to judge you. And that is a big problem here in Vietnam, where someone might go to a hospital and feel unsafe talking to their doctor. If you're a local, you can get what's called PrEP.
Oh, I've heard something about that, but I'm not sure what it is.
Medicine that protects you from HIV virus.
Right. Yeah, it's about a 92% chance of preventing you from contracting HIV if you take it regularly.
Okay.
And Vietnam's pretty lucky because locals, if you have a Ho Chi Minh City insurance card, you can go to clinics and get it for free.
Free?
Yes.
But if we have to pay for that, how much?
So if you're a foreigner and you want to pay for a treatment, it depends on the clinic. They would offer it for $800,000 a month.
Okay.
How long have you been here in Vietnam?
I've been in Vietnam for 7 years.
1 year longer than me. Xin chào.
Hey, xin chào to all the Vietnamese I know, and come on.
Come on.
Why you stay here like for 7 years?
You know, it's just not a language that connects with me. I tried so hard.
Where did you stay?
So for most of my time it's been in Saigon, but I was in Haiphong for a little while.
Hai Phong.
Yep.
Why do you choose Vietnam to leave and start your career?
So when I was in university, I had a professor who did work here in Ho Chi Minh City. When I was looking for places to go outside of the United States, I was like, yeah, that's where I want to go.
Okay.
What do you like the most in Vietnam?
Honestly, it's the food from foreigners.
Foreigners' food?
I know that's not a popular opinion, but Vietnam has a really great like foodie scene that also some Vietnamese people, chefs, are getting involved in.
Yeah.
You can get all of the world's food
Yeah.
in these really cheap places, and I love it.
Yeah. International dishes all in one place.
Yep.
Yeah, that's correct.
I also like that there is a sense of like hope or promise here. I feel like when I left America, people were sort of feeling like nothing was really gonna happen anymore. They sort of just gave up. And when you come here, like the Vietnamese people have a real sort of sense that the promise is still in the future and things can get better.
That's how I feel about Vietnam. Like, I feel people in Vietnam are very present, like very here and now, and quite hopeful and friendly.
Specialty of Vietnamese is the warm heart.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have an example. I lost all of my clothes twice.
How did you lose all of your clothes? Did you go partying and
Same
just
question.
forgot your clothes? What did you do?
It was in a hotel, right? And my clothes got stolen. In Thailand, I felt like they gave me clothes, but they had some sort of like, you need to do this for me.
Oh, yeah.
In Vietnam, the people at my work, they're just like, here, let me buy you some pants. And I was like, oh.
Like nice with no reason.
Yes.
No, I think they have a big reason because he looks so sexy.
I get this
show
kind
it
of
off.
feeling that you're so handsome but so shy and cute, like a puppy.
I'm only shy until you really get to know me.
Okay. Then you take your underpants off and you shoot.
I'm more of an observer, and then when I get comfortable, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Can we talk about your childhood? When did you recognize that you are different from the other boys?
When I was in 6th grade, I had a crush on a girl, which I didn't actually know was a crush on a girl.
A crush.
And then I never had one again. I don't feel anything. I don't know what's happening. And then I was in gym class.
Okay, gym class. Do you have a gym class story?
No. Nope.
I used to be like really, really skinny and really small and like had huge glasses and like bunch of acne. I think I weighed maybe like 45 kilograms.
45. Oh, wow.
My family didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't have a lot of food. So I just, I was, not great. So when I was in gym class and I would see these jocks, it's like, I noticed something was different about
Alaska, please.
I misinterpreted it as like me sort of like hero worshiping them. And it was just sort of became like obsessive hero worshiping them.
Oh,
I joined track in order to sort of like watch the jocks.
Hey there, handsome. I can see your butt.
Alaska.
Then I was at a hardware store one time, and that was undeniable at that point.
So that was how old?
I was 14.
With that age, you had to face with many difficulties, right?
Yes, so I grew up in a Muslim household
Where was that?
in New York City.
New York City, in a Muslim household.
In America at the time, there was a lot of very anti-gay. Now,
Anti-gay.
not so much. And at that time, there were so many things like The national conversation every day was about how gay people were bad, how gay people were evil.
Spreading HIV, I heard things like that.
Yep. For about 2 or 3 years, I became very sort of ashamed of my sexuality. Yeah. And I just never really talked about it.
And how could you overcome that feeling?
I moved out of my house.
How old were you?
16.
Why did you move out?
My family wasn't great. My mom was actually a wonderful woman. But and she was a sex rights activist, women's rights activist in the Middle East.
In the Middle East?
So my mom's Arab and my dad's white.
I'm very interested. I'm very interested to know. Your mom is Arabic and your dad is white, and you grew up in New York. And you had a good relationship with your mom.
Yes.
And your dad, no, not really.
No. He didn't like that I was gay. I mean, we never really talked about it. But like one day I was researching on the internet a school project. Well, and it was for a book, but at the same time I was researching like, how do you know if you're gay?
Okay, I understand.
And I woke up one day to find my dad had found all of that on the internet and became very like angry about it. And so I pretended that I was just researching it for that book.
Smart way to lie, but not good.
Not good. My mom was Muslim, my dad was Christian. Everyone in the Middle East is sort of like strong religious and anti-gay. There's a lot of complex movements in there. There's a lot of people fighting for queer rights, but very, very anti-gay. Like, for example, you become a man in Middle Eastern society when you get your first beard.
How old were you when you got your beard?
15.
Whoa! 15 when he got a beard. Wow, you must have been the hairiest guy at school.
I call it a beard mitzvah. A beard mitzvah is when you become a man.
Beard mitzvah. But what ended up making you move out of the house?
My family didn't like my education.
Where did you study?
When we came to the United States, we're sort of the belief that you should become a blue-collar kind of person.
Blue collar, like businessman.
Well, no, that's white collar.
Oh, sorry.
So like the truckers, the mechanics, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
My dad couldn't read, and I was in gifted and talented programs. He just made it really impossible for me to study, and he made me fail a class in my high school. So I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this. So I moved out, and then soon after, my family died. So.
Oh my God, your family died? What happened?
They were in a car wreck with my mom, so.
All of them? Oh my God, that's terrible.
I mean, it's been 17 years. So.
And now, do you have any other family members?
No. I create my own family.
Promise you can be my brother from now on.
Okay.
Imagine.
I'm like speechless.
Yeah, I'm also speechless. Like, I can't imagine. How did you get through that?
You know, when I was very young, I sort of was very strong about my own identity. I sort of knew who I was. I sort of separated out. But very quickly, I sort of realized that when you're orphaned, you have to be everything for yourself. So I am my cheerleader. I'm the one who motivates me. I'm the one who tells me that I'm being dumb.
You having to be strong all the time, you can sometimes be perfectionist towards yourself.
Yes. This is something it took me a while to realize when I was watching other families work. Your mom might, be the one who encourages you and tells you, like, you're doing great, Your dad's like, do better.
Yeah.
Right?
Be stronger, do better.
Your brother and sister are maybe your confidants, and they sort of there. But I knew that I needed to be all of those people, and I just had to keep going. My approach to life is that you just have to keep walking one step ahead at a time, even if you're walking into a wall.
So inspirational, hey? You should be very proud of yourself. That's really so much courage. Like, I can't imagine what I would do if I was in that situation.
Me too.
And then what happened? Where did you go?
I lived with a Saudi businessman in his closet.
Saudi businessman in his closet.
Well, I mean, New York City's expensive.
Whoa!
I wanted to-
Was it a nice closet?
Well, no, but he wasn't there often.
Okay.
So I just had like a cot in the closet, and I just lived there.
When life is so hard to you, do you have any close friend or
Oh yeah,
to share it?
yeah. My friends are my family. Sometimes I don't think they know that. I have one, my best friends who lives in the state of Montana now, and I have a great friend in Panama. I have a very good friend here. He's one of the drag queens over at Genderfunk.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Sen. I have some people who I trust and love.
Friends everywhere, hey? You're an international citizen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I come across very intimidating to a lot of people, or
like-
slightly scary.
Yeah.
Well, then, so I don't know if it's my physical thing, but my face is often reading like, I'm gonna kill you. But inside I'm like, everything is great and wonderful.
Yeah.
I think it comes across often as closed off. Yeah, so like when I'm at a bar where nobody ever talks to me out there.
Oh, you better go talk to him when he's at the bar.
I don't like to go to the bar actually.
Have you ever approached a guy at the bar?
Not yet.
Like,
Why?
Because I don't want to do that like that much.
You want to be approached.
Not really.
So you never flirt with people, but you don't really want them to flirt with you either.
Actually, yeah.
So what? How does that work?
why?
I live in a traditional house and I don't like to go out to make friends or flirting.
Ah, solitude
So
kind of
many
guy.
times. Yeah.
Would you say
Kind
that
of.
you're solitude?
I like my alone time. Yeah, I'm definitely more of an introverted person, you know? So you usually, if you want to engage me, you're going to want to do it on some deeper topics, which is hard in a bar, yeah? I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
I still challenge myself to go out and talk to people at a bar. Usually when I go and walk by them, they get all nervous, walk away.
Can you imagine him nervous?
Not,
You're so handsome.
well, I mean, I can be nervous at a bar. It's not my normal like setting. Like a couple like small things are, right? If you want to talk to me at a bar, you have to go up and talk to me.
Okay.
I'm not the best at this.
So tell me about a love story. Do you have any?
love story. Why are you so curious about that?
I want to know. I mean, you don't want to flirt and don't want people to flirt, so I don't know how your love life is going, but at least he goes out to the bar, so I'm sure there has to be some kind of love life.
I haven't been on a date in 10 years.
10 years.
I've had a couple boyfriends in my life. Yeah. I actually DJ'd my ex's wedding in Mumbai.
What songs did you play?
Well, I do music journalism, and he really liked my music tastes.
Oh, okay.
And I actually introduced him and his husband.
Holy moly. So were you broken up at the time when you introduced him to the new husband?
Oh,
Or-
yeah. And they are very good together. So they invited me to their wedding to give a speech and to DJ, and it was really nice.
Why my ex hate me like this? I say that I don't want to continue the relationship. They hate me.
A lot of us still have to go through sort of the high school love that straight people go through.
Ooh, high school love.
You know, that's sort
Yeah.
of overly dramatic, like everyone is sort of like, oh, it's my first love, it's the biggest thing in the world, I'm never gonna fall in love again, oh my God,
Ever
what's gonna
together,
happen?
you and me, nobody
Yes.
else, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, and so in that there's a lot of jealousy, and there's a lot of like hurt feelings. They don't quite know how to sort of deal with the relationship in that way. But for me, like I've never been jealous. I think that by losing people in my life, I know that I'm just glad to have them around. Like no matter what. The best date I was ever on was, well, most people would consider this a terrible date. I thought it was amazing. So we were supposed to go out to a bar, and he's like, he's a graduate student, and
Yeah.
I was a university student taking.
Here in Vietnam?
No, in Seattle, where I went to
Seattle.
university. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go out to a bar," and when he picked me up in his car, he's like, "Actually, the Canadian election returns are on tonight. Can we go watch that?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, please." I had known nothing about the Canadian election system, and he sat down there and explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so enamored right now." He made me some food. When I didn't understand something, he showed me a documentary, and I was like, "This is amazing." But it was just sort of on the topics that I like. We sort of both had that topics, that same sort of passions, and that sort of building and adding on each other. Yeah.
And then you dated?
Well, then he actually had to go do some research in France, and I never saw him again.
Oh gosh.
Terrible ending. That's a terrible ending.
Such a love story.
I don't view it that way. I view it as giving me a standard of what I want.
Oh my God, how optimistic is that? When something bad happened to him, he viewed it as a standard, what he wants in his life.
So are you in relationship this time?
No?
No.
Single. Hard to get, wants to be approached, very handsome, but shy.
I'm a lot of conflicting things.
That's like a paradox walking
Yes,
around.
it is.
So let's talk about the LGBT community in Vietnam compared to, you said, New York, right?
I lived in New York and Seattle.
Can you tell us a little bit about the LGBT community over there compared to how it is here?
I think there's a lot less people who feel like they need to sort of hide their sexuality.
In Vietnam.
In America.
But in Vietnam, it's different.
Yeah, so many times I'll meet a Vietnamese guy who is out when he's here, but when you go to his hometown, yeah, that's not happening.
Super secret.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't think anybody should ever be forced to come out until they feel like they need to or they're comfortable to. But in America, it's more like common. You'll see bigger bars, you'll see like many different bars. And I think there's just a little bit more awareness about sexual health in
sexual
America.
health within the LGBT community.
Yeah, those are your biggest changes.
So do you have any plan for your future in Vietnam?
So in my future, for right now, I just want to develop these HIV programs out in there. I like to work with other sort of gay organizations, and I'd like to do something called volunteering.
Volunteering?
Volunteering? What's that?
Do you know queer?
Queer, yeah.
So volunteer
and
volunteer.
Oh, I got it.
There's a lot of foreigners I know who would love to get involved in this. And last summer during the Pride events, I actually had a small booth that I was trying to get referrals between like foreigners and gay organizations. So I'd like to sort of develop that.
Do you have any message that you want to share with the LGBT community?
Yeah, the idea that you're gonna come out once is a misconception. I wish I had known that very early, that I have to every day often think about if I'm going to come out. I have to do that at my job, I have to do that in everyday situations, and that you get stronger at it each time, but use each time as practice to where you can become more comfortable with it.
As a gay person, you come out every single day in every single situation.
Yes.
Thank you so much.